I have tried to figure out what is the highest paying job in the oil and gas industry, and in this video I'm going to share with you a number of jobs, a number of oil and gas roles that pay the highest in the entire oil and gas value chain. And this is important if you are looking for a job in the oil and gas industry, if you are seeking to grow your career in the oil and gas sector. You may want to know the highest paying jobs or roles in the oil and gas industry so that you can be able to optimize your career, you can be able to improve yourself, you can be able to invest in yourself to be able to secure any of these highest paying oil and gas jobs. Some of them will require you to have technical oil and gas skills, to require you to have a background of technical expertise when it comes to the oil and gas industry, while others may actually be commercial or business oriented oil and gas jobs. And both of them will require you to be a person who can be able to deliver and create value for the oil and gas company or the oil and gas organization that you're going to be working in. Now, the question of the highest oil and gas paying job is a question that will always come up if you are interested in getting a job or if you're interested in moving from one role to the other within the oil and gas industry. And while it is not probably best to base your career necessarily on the fact that it pays the highest, because again, you may get into something that you end up not liking or that you may end up not enjoying doing, we cannot deny the fact that money plays a very big role when someone is picking the career to pick or the choice of the oil and gas job to do. And if you are going to invest time and money trying to acquire skills and knowledge and expertise when it comes to the oil and gas industry, you might as well be able to look at the highest paying oil and gas jobs or do research that will help you understand how various oil and gas roles are paid and what determines the amount of money you get in whatever oil and gas job that you want. Now, there is a scale to this, whereby if you are least skilled, then you can almost certainly expect that that will be the lowest paid oil and gas job. So if you do not have any skills, if you have nothing that you can provide or bring to the table, then you should also expect probably not to get as much. However, if on the other hand you are highly skilled, you are specialized, you are in an area that probably doesn't have a lot of supply in terms of the people who can do it, but there is demand for that particular expertise, then you can expect that you're going to get paid a lot of money. You're going to get paid a lot of money when it comes to that particular oil and gas job. At the same time, you need to also consider the value that you are bringing to the organization or the company that you are working in the oil and gas industry. And I know this can be a very emotional debate, because there are people who feel that they do a lot of work yet they don't get paid a lot, and yet there are people who feel that some of the people who are occupying executive offices don't do a lot of work yet they get paid a lot of money. And you need to be able to understand the whole idea of value creation when it comes to the oil and gas industry. Most oil and gas companies, actually probably 99% of the oil and gas company, are for profit oil and gas businesses. That means their highest or biggest motivation is creating value for the owners, for the shareholders, and making profits or being able to make a lot of money. You need to therefore be able to align the role you are playing, the oil and gas job that you want to do, with that objective, such that you can be able to provide a lot of value and be able to ensure that the company is making a lot of money. And if you can be able to achieve that, you definitely are going to get paid a lot of money. You're going to get paid highly when it comes to the oil and gas job that you're doing. So it is important for you to be able to understand the entire business side of the oil and gas industry, because that can help you align your job or career interests with the objectives of the organization, with the objectives of the shareholders, so that you can be a person who adds a lot of value And the more value you add, definitely the more money you are going to get. But at the same time, like I said earlier, there are also a number of oil and gas jobs that are a bit risky, like operating in an offshore environment. And that's why you find that those who operate in the oil and gas offshore platforms, offshore environment, actually get paid more than other people, because the risk is high, the climate conditions can be very harsh, and you find that there are a number of other reasons why offshore workers or offshore rig workers end up getting paid more than probably other people on average. But it is important for you to be able to do research, understand the oil and gas jobs market, and be able to pinpoint some of the top highest paying oil and gas jobs. The oil and gas industry provides a variety of job opportunities, and what this means is that you need to look at the highest paying oil and gas jobs across the entire oil and gas value chain. In very simple terms, what this entails is the fact that you can be able to get a highest paying oil and gas job in the upstream sector, in the midstream sector, as well as the downstream sector, or the segments of the oil and gas industry. When you think of the entire oil and gas value chain, you are going to find some subtle differences across the three segments. What I mean is that when it comes to the exploration and production of the oil and gas resources, that is within the upstream subsector, the highest paying jobs in that subsector are going to be very different from what you are going to find in the midstream sector as well as in the downstream oil and gas industry. And it is understandable, because those three segments play very different roles when it comes to the movement of the oil and gas resources across the entire value chain. So you do not expect that the highest oil and gas job in upstream is the same as the one in midstream or the same as the one in the downstream. There will be some subtle differences, and you need to be able to understand those, so that then you can be able to figure out the kind of oil and gas job that pays the highest in each of the segments. If you are looking for a job in the oil and gas industry, there are a number of factors that you might consider when you are seeking for the specific role that you want to play. And one of the factors that come into play is the amount of money that each oil and gas job provides. And while probably it's not advisable to just look at the money, you also need to look at whether you actually enjoy doing that particular job. You really cannot ignore the role that money plays when it comes to the work that you're going to do. In the oil and gas industry, this is equally true. There are a number of high-paying oil and gas jobs that you can actually tap into. And you need to be very deliberate when you're trying to get one of those jobs. And that will require you to do research, understand the role and responsibilities of each particular oil and gas job that pays the highest, so that by the time you are getting to apply for it, or by the time you actually get that particular job, you actually know what is expected of you. Because you would not want to actually pursue an oil and gas career just because it pays the highest, then end up being disappointed or end up not delivering what is expected of you, because you are going to end up wasting a lot of time investing in yourself, probably even going to school trying to acquire the skills that are needed for that particular oil and gas job. So as you can see, and probably as I have mentioned earlier in this video, there are quite a number of high-paying oil and gas jobs across the three segments of the oil and gas industry. It is upon you to figure out which role you want to play across the oil and gas sector, and then match your skills and probably expertise to a particular oil and gas job that can compensate you well. To get started in the oil and gas industry, or to even understand what are some of the highest oil and gas paying jobs, I would recommend that you start talking to either experts within the industry or people who have played the role or done the job that you want to actually apply for. And even more importantly, you can look for oil and gas recruitment agencies or companies that can be able to provide you professional help and guidance when it comes to some of these highest paying oil and gas jobs. These are companies that actually help professionals to get oil and gas jobs. They're in a better position to actually guide you when it comes to the amount of money each oil and gas job pays, especially if you are specific on getting a high paying oil and gas job. The oil and gas industry across the world continues to actually power the global economy. And while there has been a lot of discussions around the renewables or moving to cleaner sources of energy, the hydrocarbon sector or the petroleum industry still plays a significant role when it comes to the global economy and supply of energy across the world. And that also comes with a lot of job opportunities. And these are job opportunities that you can tap into if you are a beginner in the oil and gas sector, or if you're already a professional who is moving careers across or within the oil and gas industry. If you have enjoyed this video, I am sure you are going to enjoy the video on your screen right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'll see you in the next video.